Good. Okay, I just had my vaccine. Today is January 13, right? And so I had Pfizer BioNTech. There are only two vaccines that has been allowed or approved by Food and Drug Administration or FDA with an emergency use authorization. Way back in December, the first was Pfizer BioNTech. These are two giant pharmaceutical companies. BioNTech is a German company, while Pfizer, of course, is an American company. And a week after, in December, after the approval of Pfizer BioNTech, Moderna had theirs also approved by FDA. So currently out in the market, not necessarily in the market because it is not for sale, it is given for free here in the United States. And so both vaccines are being given for free. But there is a tier, a level. There is a priority. So the priority is priority A or 1A are the frontline healthcare workers. So I'm here in Palm Grove Healthcare. This is one of our client facilities out of the 21. So all of our frontline healthcare workers, but I considered myself also a frontline healthcare workers, just like, Elizabeth here, who is my staff. We are both in the frontline where with risk management, our role is to protect, secure the safety of our employees against any form of hazards, including, of course, the COVID-19. Now, I know there are a lot of hesitancy and even fear on the part of some of our employees or even our patients or residents who take the COVID-19 vaccine. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, all of us should believe in science and all of us should trust the Food and Drug Administration. All the medications, all medicines, all vaccines that we had for years, they were approved by the Food and Drug Administration. In other words, they're not going to approve it if they have not gone through a process. So what is the process? So with Pfizer and Moderna, they had three clinical trials that went way back in March of last year. So it took them 9 months and more than 50,000 volunteered for the clinical trial for the COVID-19 vaccine. When I say 50,000, it doesn't mean for both combined, but each. Pfizer, more than 40,000. Moderna had more than 50,000. And for each of the clinical trials, okay, I'm just explaining to you, there is a placebo group. A placebo is a sugar pill. It's just like water. Okay? And the other one is, of course, the COVID-19 vaccine. But these volunteers does not know at all whether they belong to the placebo group or the group with the COVID-19 vaccine that is undergoing testing. Because it will give them all the opportunity to go out, okay, in the community and see whether it will take effect or not. And so, there were two independent groups before FDA approved the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. When I say independent groups, they are not with the government. These are world scientists. These are Nobel laureates. These are experts in the field of immunology, epidemiology, virologists. These are academicians. These are scientists in the field of diseases and virus. Independent groups. So they crunch the numbers, they work on the data, and they found out that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine are safe and effective. And what is the rate? 95%. Because in any vaccine, okay, the government would like to find out of this clinical trial, there are only two factors. Is it safe and is it effective? Meaning safe, when we take the vaccine, we are not going to die. Or we're not going to get any serious issues regarding our health or any form of complications. Effective meaning it will protect us from the virus or the disease. So FDA found out, based upon the recommendation of these two groups, that it is safe and effective. 95%, would you imagine that? It's close to 100%. The current vaccines that we are using, the most common is the flu vaccine or the influenza vaccine. Don't you know that influenza or the flu vaccine is only 65% safe and effective? Yes, And that's why even me, I took the flu vaccine last year, August or October. Remember, Elizabeth, in Miravilla? And yet, despite taking the flu vaccine, I got the flu along the way. Because the safety and efficacy of the flu vaccine is only 65%. So if you compare with the coronavirus or the COVID-19 vaccine, 95%. So there you are. So we should not hesitate to take the COVID-19 vaccine. And in addition to that, which is very important, I would like to tell you, my friends, and those of you who are following me, okay? There are two types of vaccines. One is the live attenuated vaccine, and the second is the inactivated type of vaccine. All of us, okay, since we were born, okay, we were still a baby, we took shots, right? Measles shots, polio shots, smallpox, chicken pox, the shingles, the flu shot, the everything, the hepatitis B shots, all of these, they fall either under the live attenuated type of vaccine and the other one, the inactivated vaccine. So what does it mean? Like the flu shot, it is inactivated. But whether it's live attenuated or inactivated, they have a strain of the virus. They have the strain of the virus. So what does it mean? So the dosage that you get, it has a strain of the virus. Say for example, the polio. There is a virus of the polio there. So you take the flu shot, there is a strain of the flu virus there. Because as they say, only a thief can catch a thief. So that's why they have that in the vaccine, so that the vaccine with the virus can now recognize, okay, and able to fight. Now, so those are the two types. So the live attenuated, they weaken the virus. And the inactivated, they kill the strain of the virus, but the virus is still there. Because these are the virus that could recognize a virus. Now, with Pfizer and Moderna, there is no strain of the virus, ladies and gentlemen. That is why it is very, 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 very safe. No strain of the virus. This is therefore the third form or third type of vaccine. What do we have in the Pfizer and Moderna? What we have is messenger RNA. Messenger, R stands for rhino, okay, and stands for nucleic. A stands for acid. So messenger RNA. Our cells are divided into two, DNA and RNA. Moderna and Pfizer were able to crack the genome of the RNA because the coronavirus, they found out that this virus, okay, has a special type of protein. So that's why messenger RNA, they were able to crack the genome of this particular protein of the coronavirus or the COVID-19. And what they do, they will send a message. This one, the one that I just had, okay? It will send a message in my RNA cells, in order to replicate or mimic or fake a COVID-19 spike protein cells of the COVID-19. You see the technology that we have nowadays? So that's why you are surprised. How come in 9 months we were able to have the Pfizer and the Moderna? And perhaps it is not safe. No, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? 9 years ago when we had the SARS-CoV-1, because the one that we have now is SARS-CoV-2. When we have the MERS, the Asian pandemic flu in Hong Kong. Because the COVID-19 it comes from the coronavirus. So, they already studied this way back 9 years ago. Research and development was already undertaken, and they were able to crack the genome, not in a laboratory, but using, okay, the fastest, brainiest computer like the IBM. So they were able to crack the genome, okay, of the RNA protein, and they created the messenger RNA. So in short, therefore, you don't have the virus. I don't have the virus of the COVID-19 here, but rather, through that computer, okay, they were able to create an RNA that will now recognize and create an antibody an immune system on my part. So that's how it works with this vaccine. But this vaccine, Pfizer and Moderna, there are 2 doses. So today, Elizabeth and I and the rest of the staff here in Palm Grove Healthcare had our first dose. So the second dose will be 21 days after, and that will be in February 3, right, Elizabeth? So on February 3, we will return and we'll have our second dose, and that's it, we're done. In the case of Moderna, okay, it is 23 days or 28 days apart for the second dose. Now, as we speak, there are still 4 major pharmaceutical companies who are almost done with the stage 3 clinical trial, because it requires 3 clinical trials before they can submit to FDA for approval and before those 2 independent agencies can, study their data. So we have Johnson & Johnson, we have Oxford, okay, AstraZeneca, we also have Novavax, and Sanofi GSK. So in other words, there are 4 in the pipelines. And they're going to submit, okay, their request for EUA or approval either this month or next month. So once this has been approved, there will be 6 in the market, okay, of these vaccines. And all of these 6 are messenger RNA, which is the safest. It is not live attenuated. It is not the type of inactivated type of vaccines. And these vaccines are here in the United States. Thank you so much. This is free. So the 302 million people in the United States, you will get it for free. But the general public will start to get it around March or April, because the first will be those involved in the long-term care industry, the frontline healthcare workers, the first responders, including us. And so by March, it will be available to the general public. So hopefully, we will have those 4 vaccines approved so that they can ramp up. And versus the Pfizer, Moderna, the rest of the vaccines, it is, refrigerated only. Okay? There is no cold chain requirement unlike Pfizer and Moderna where it should be sub-zero. This one, a normal room temperature or refrigerator, once this temp, would be enough. And in addition, out of the 4, Johnson & Johnson will only have 1 dose. But AstraZeneca, Novavax, and Sanofi GSK is the same as Pfizer and Moderna, 2 shots. Now, in the Philippines, okay, it has become an issue because China has been selling the Sinovac. Sino is China. Means China. And it is only 65% effective. So I really do not know if it is safe. But my friends in the Philippines, hopefully our government in the Philippines, please buy Pfizer, BioNTech, or Moderna, or wait for Johnson & Johnson, or the Oxford, AstraZeneca, or the Novavax, or the Sanofi GSK. Why I'm saying this? Because if there is one country in the world that is so tough, which the World Health Organization even recognized, not even in the European Union, it is only United States who comes up with a good research and development and quality as to its safety and effectiveness. So I hope the Philippines, you will spend your money. Do not buy the cheap ones, because we are talking of lives here. And we have more than 100 million people in our country. And I understand they want to buy the cheapest one. Please do not buy the cheap one. Anyway, the 4 vaccines in line that we have right now in the United States, the cheapest is $13. And I think it's the Sanofi GSK. And the most expensive is the Pfizer, which is $23. So what is that? That is cheap. When you convert that into pesos, it will save lives. Now, so we are in the United States, and all of my friends, please take the vaccine. This is the only way that we can stop the spread of the COVID-19. A lot of people are dying. Here in the United States alone, in state of California, 10,000 cases of confirmed COVID-19 a day, and 3,000 to 5,000 dying as a result of the COVID disease every day. We are number one in the world. And we are now in the world, we're almost 2 million dying. The only solution is to have ourselves COVID-19 vaccinated. As Dr. Anthony Fauci said, the top infectious disease expert, if we can have a herd immunity of 85%, meaning 85% of the population around the world, or in the United States, or any country for that matter, 85% of the population got vaccinated, then we establish herd immunity. So when we have the herd immunity, then life will return back to normal. There can never be new normal. No, it will be the same normal that we had once we have 85% having been vaccinated of this COVID-19. This COVID-19 vaccine is a gift from God. I'm a spiritual person, but I will tell you, this is what we have been praying for. And God gave this to us. Because the only way to stop the pandemic is to have a vaccine. And here we are. God gave this to us. And so we better take it. In 1918, we have the Spanish pandemic flu. For 4 years, half of the population died. Then eventually they came up with a vaccine, which is the influenza flu vaccine that we are taking now. See, they went back to normal. Because that's the only way. Only vaccine, or in the Philippines you call it bakuna, that can stop that disease. So my friends, in other countries, they can only hope, dream, and pray, because economically they cannot. But here in the United States, everything is feel free. We better take it. But in the Philippines, okay, I still empathize with them. Hopefully our government will come up with all the necessary resources. Stop the corruption. Donate your countrywide development fund or your pork barrel just to buy this vaccine, so that more than 100%, more than 100 million population of the Philippines can get the vaccine, so that we can return back to normalcy. So thank you so much for the time that you've given me. If you have any questions, my friends, you can call me, you can message me in my messenger, or you can even comment here when I post this in a Facebook, and I am going to answer it. So thank you so much, and let's go out and get our COVID-19 vaccine, which my staff Elizabeth and I and the rest of the employees here in Palm Grove, more than 60 of them, took the COVID-19 vaccine. Thank you so much, and I love you all.